Be honest, do you believe that? Wallahi, that's false.
Because yeah, it's not true. We agree with that as well.
Yeah,
So
because what you're saying is false.
that's not what Sikhs believe in either.
There are practices and beliefs in Sikhism which are too close to Islam for you to say that it was independently discovered despite it. There are 3 fixed times for prayers, and then in that you can pray actually 5 times if you space it out.
This kind of reminds me of something.
Okay, they pray 5 times a day.
What?
Yes. And they follow the same time. They follow the same time. Fajr,
You gotta be kidding me.
Zuhur, Asr. Wallahi.
No
Wallahi.
way, bro. He's saying the same thing, but we already answered this. Sikhs pray in the morning, in the evening, and before bed.
And you have to wash yourself before you pray.
They invented taking a bath. That's what it seems.
How could it be that a religion, which is not a universalist religion, okay, your religion stayed in the Punjab? That's why you don't find black Sikhs that many.
So Guru Nanak Dev Ji went across the whole of Hindustan. Guru Nanak Dev Ji went to Sangaladi, Sri Lanka today. Guru Nanak Dev Ji went to Afghanistan. Guru Nanak Dev Ji went to Iraq. Guru Nanak Dev Ji did more prachar than Jesus. Guru Nanak Dev Ji spoke many languages. They spoke in Hindi, they spoke the language of Sanskrit, they spoke in Farsi. Guru Nanak Dev Ji spoke so many different languages and dialects of the time, and you're saying that Sikhi is not universal.
One of the largest free kitchens in the whole world is at Sri Darbar Sahib, Harmandir Sahib,
Yeah.
where they feed people from every background.
You've got an individual, Guru Nanak. He was influenced, without a shadow of a doubt, by Sufis and by Hinduism. He had a peer who is called Baba Farid. Baba Farid's works are in the Guru Granth Sahib. Why is he quoted inside of the GGS?
If you just do a Google search, right, they will tell you in Google that Bhagat Farid Ji came onto this earth 300 years nearly before Guru Nanak Dev Ji. So where's the interaction? Yes, their writings are added. It doesn't make a case for Islam, it makes a case for spiritual wisdom. So it's differentiating between the two.
If he's saying that Sikhi is an amalgamation of Islam, right, and Hinduism, and he's given Bhagat Farid Ji as his reference, who was, you could say, is like a fringe of what Islam, modern day Islam would consider. If it's an amalgamation of Islam, why isn't the Prophet's word in the Guru Granth Sahib? It's basically a circular argument, right? What he's saying is Islam is true because the Prophet said it's true, and the Prophet said, I am the last Prophet. He's using his own sources, his own reasoning to prove himself.
Yeah.
Whereas we don't accept that in the first place. It's like saying, oh, Liverpool Football Club is the best football club because their fan club says it in their book. It doesn't make any sense.
Welcome back to another episode of the BOS TV reaction series, where we take the videos that you send to us and we react to them. It's been a while. Big up to, I forgot his name, is it Samit from Malaysia?
Yeah.
That was probably the last one I think we reacted to. That was quite a while ago. Born in a Sikh family, and then he converted to Islam, and he just spewed a lot of false narratives about Sikhi and made a lot of things up. And Guru Kirpa, the Sangat, learned a lot from it and learned a lot about the types of tactics that certain individuals use to distort the teachings and the message of Sikhi, basically. And today we've got a video from someone called Mohammed Hijab.
Yep.
So Mohammed Hijab is quite an influential character. He's a YouTube influencer, I'd say, as well.
Yeah.
Quite popular. He actually there was a video of Bhaji Garaj Singh as well when they went to Speaker's Corner, and he spoke to Mohammed Hijab and Ali Dawa, these kind of guys. I was actually there. I was the cameraman.
Oh, wow.
So what's going on today?
Yeah, so he's made a video and it's got about 80,000 views so far, and he's titled it A Message to the Sikhs. And what he's done in this video is quite interesting, and we'll go into detail later about all the individual points. But straight off the bat, what we want to say is that his premise that he set out, we totally reject that. And the way he's framed and put Sikhi into this Islamic framework, into this box, which doesn't actually fit, it doesn't make any sense. And when you start to realize that, his whole argument falls apart. And we're going to go into a lot more details, but as an underlying base, we wanted to start off with this because technically we don't need to sit here and debate with Islam or people like that. And we know Mohammed Hijab doesn't represent all Muslims, right?
Yeah.
So that's another key point. You have many diverse opinions and viewpoints from people in practicing Islam. So we wouldn't say he's some authority on this topic. We're not saying that we're against Muslims in this video. So that's one clear distinction we want to make. We have loads of Muslim friends that are really kind, loving, neighborly Muslims, and we get along with them fine. So this isn't an attack on Islam. We wanted to make that clear. This is an attack on the argument that Mohammed Hijab has brought forward.
Why has he made this video? So it's quite interesting because it's like, out of all the times someone can make a video about Sikhi, or in this case, as they refer to as Sikhism, why now? So in June 2026, when this video is being filmed, there's been a lot of spotlight Can you say that? On the Sikhs, due to a case that's taken place in the UK, where Sikhs, the term Sikh is probably trending a lot online, right? So Muhammad the Jab has seen this, has seen that Sikhs in the spotlight, and this is his opportunity to go out there and deliver his message to the Sikhs, knowing that Sikh is being searched online. So in that case, we have an opportunist, right? Seeing that this is my chance where I can deliver a message. And we'll go through the video now in terms of what he has to say. The first 50 seconds is like an ad. He's just promoting building a mosque in Norway or something. So we skip that. We've moved to 50 seconds in the video where he now speaks directly to the Sikhs. And let's see what he has to say.
And hello to my Sikh friends. Hello. How are you doing?
Doing good.
There's been a lot of talk about the Sikh community because of the dreadful death of Henry Nawak and the discussion about the Kirpan, and some people have been trying to generalize the dignified and integrous Sikh community of this country in the UK in a bad way, especially in the far right, because they've seen, they do that all the time. They've been doing that with Muslims, they've been doing that with black people, they've been doing that with all kinds of ethnic marriages. So it's not something which actually surprises anybody. We've spoken about on Twitter, I've had these discussions about the Kirpan and stuff. I don't want to really go there today with you. In fact, I wanted to just suggest something, and I'm going to be really direct because I know that you guys.
So just quickly, with the Kirpan Henry Nawak case that's taken place in the UK, you've seen that as something that's trending. He's jumped on that. He's mentioned it to start with. So when I first watched his video, I thought maybe he was going to give us some advice. I give the Sikhs some advice, on how to deal with this situation or something. Not that we need it. I thought, Chalo, theek hai, he wants to give some advice, but the conversation quickly switches or shifts to what he's going to mention now, right?
And it's very clever the way he's trying to kind of empathize or sympathize with the kind of the Sikhs in Britain, because we're under the spotlight at the moment. And even when he's talking about like the far right and all these things, this kind of fascist ideology which is coming much more prevalent nowadays in the West. It's something that we probably need to deal with as a collective, and everyone needs to unite against that kind of oppression and tyranny, which is what the Guru stood for, right? So it's clever that he's tapping into that kind of sorchni, that thinking, and then he's using that as a bridge to then go into his next kind of argument.
Well, it's all marketing, right? You hook them in, you've got something that's relevant, relatable, that's happening, and now they're hooked in. Like I've seen a lot of the videos that Muslims make when they do their prachar, they hook you in with one concept that is quite universal that everybody knows about, and then they go straight into what they are actually trying to push, which is their own prachar in that case. So let's see what he wants to talk to the Sikhs about.
Very busy. I wanted to make an argument.
And he said we're very busy. We are very busy. Right? We made time. We made time for this as well.
A theological argument. Now, this theological argument is an argument that Islam is true and that Sikhism plagiarized from Islam. Okay, and there's no way that this could be coincidental. I know that sounds very disrespectful in your religion, but the truth has no limits. Okay, we have to just be honest about these things, and this is part of us being, frankly, being ingenuous with each other, authentic with each other. The argument I'm going to present is, I'm going to call it the Sufi convergence argument, or the improbability parallel argument. So look, Guru Nanak is an individual who is located in the Punjab region. Actually, he's perhaps ironically born in present-day Pakistan. And he's an individual who had interaction.
Just to pause there, because something interesting that he's made here. He's trying to infer that because Guru Nanak Dev Ji is born in modern-day Pakistan, that maybe the Guru was influenced by the culture or the norms of that society, right? Pakistan didn't even exist at that time, right? 500 years ago, 5 centuries ago, there was no nation state called Pakistan. It was Punjab. And then if we were to kind of turn this logic on him and say that, well, the Prophet Muhammad, he was born in modern day Saudi Arabia, right? So if we were to apply the same logic, I don't think they would like that if we were to say that the Prophet was influenced by the cultures and the norms of today's Saudis, which I know people like Muhammad Ajab are probably against what a lot of practices that are going on in the area. So his whole argument falls apart when we're trying to base previous historical standards on today's standards of a nation state which never even existed.
100%. And we'll let the video keep playing a little bit longer, but straight away it's like, whoa, he's gone straight in, right? Straight in with the attack, right? So let's see what he continues to say.
With Sufi people, the like of Baba Farid, who was a Sufi Muslim. Now, he also obviously was in a milieu where Hinduism was prevalent. Now, I want to ask you a simple question. How likely is it that this was all the case and that these two religions, which actually have nothing to do with each other, Islam and Hinduism, really in its final form, I'm not talking about a case that can be in the beginning, they're not Abrahamic sort of religions, they don't come from the same sort of, they have nothing to do with each other, but somehow Sikhism was able to amalgamate those two aspects in religion into one religion, holding on to, for example, on the one hand, monotheism, ik onkar, the idea of strict sort of monotheism, and on the other hand, you've got reincarnation.